Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to News 3 Now on this 4th of July Eve.
It feels like a Friday, doesn't it?
It's a faux Friday.
Yeah, it's a faux Friday. It's only Wednesday, but the day before the holiday.
Yeah, and another scorcher out there.
Yeah.
And Concerts on the Square is on for tonight, so if you're heading down there, it's a go.
And it's the big one. It's the Independence Day celebration.
Yep,
yeah.
1812 Overture. Well, here's what's making news on this Wednesday. Governor Evers has signed the state budget, but not without a few line-item vetoes. Rose Schmidt is live at the Capitol with more.
The cause of a fire this morning that killed several cattle is still under investigation. Our Madeline O'Neill will have the latest.
And in national news, New York City Detective Luis Alvarez was laid to rest today. He became known as the face of 9/11 first responders who dug through the rubble. We'll share the latest from New York.
Let's take a look outside on this Wednesday afternoon. It sort of looked like it could rain at any moment.
Yeah, this cloud.
Yeah, boy, that's a dramatic shot. A few sprinkles here and there, but nothing too major.
It rained here at the station about a half hour ago, but those are popping up. That time of year. Fireworks, some natural for the 4th. Dave Caulfield is in the backyard where it is not raining right now.
Not raining, but it's still very steamy out here, that's for sure. It feels like I just stepped out of the shower, but we just had a shower step out of southern Wisconsin, specifically in the west side of Madison. High-resolution Doppler, you can see these showers and storms really not moving all that much. These are kind of what we typically call popcorn showers and thunderstorms that kind of just pop up out of nowhere, usually along some sort of boundary. And so expect the chances for maybe an isolated shower or storm here and there for the next couple of hours as we head into the rest of this evening. Madison, we just had that shower wrap up on the WISC-TV Skycam. No rain at the present time. Temperatures are in the mid-80s and, yeah, mid-80s basically. A little bit cooler near the lakeshore. Heat index values, though, are in the mid to upper 90s across portions of southwestern Wisconsin especially. So expect those temperatures to hang out in the 80s for the rest of the mid-evening hours. And then we'll drop through the 70s as we head into later tonight. Again, can't rule out an isolated shower, but I don't think they'll be widespread by any means. Have that umbrella ready to go, like me. We are looking at first alert traffic update now, and Park Street and the Beltline, we're noticing some slow go on the eastbound side. Westbound is looking good. Some sort of incident a little bit closer to the interstate in Dane County that has popped up pretty recently. Otherwise, no major accidents or incidents to report, but we are starting to really see those delays pile up on the Beltline, and specifically eastbound Verona Road to John Nolan Drive. That is 28 minutes right now. Average speed only around 10 miles per hour, so keep that in mind. That's going to add definitely some minutes to your commute home. Some other routes in and around Madison, not looking too bad. On the interstate, southbound, the Beltline to Janesville, that's 27 minutes, so that's about normal with an average speed of around 65 miles per hour. That is your first alert traffic update. We'll go over fireworks chances and natural fireworks chances in the way of thunderstorms into your 4th of July holiday and your first alert forecast.
A lot of people on the road. Busy travel day today.
Now,
yes.
Right.
All right, we'll see you in a few minutes, Dave. Thank you.
Thank you, Dave. First at 4, Governor Tony Evers is using his expansive partial veto power to reshape the state's 2-year spending plan, which he signed into law today.
He's increasing money for schools and scaling back on throwing out a number of Republican provisions. Rose Schmidt joins us live from the state capitol to explain the changes and the response to them. Rose?
Yes, well, Governor Evers says Wisconsin's 2-year spending plan is insufficient, but he says he chose not to veto the plan altogether because that would be petty and divisive. He signed the budget today in his Capitol office after making 78 partial vetoes. He vowed to continue trying to expand Medicaid and legalize medical marijuana, 2 things the budget does not include. One of the biggest changes was Evers increased spending for K-12 schools by $65 million more than state lawmakers approved. But Republican Senate Majority Leader Scott Fitzgerald says that was within Evers' right to do.
Today, I am signing a much better version of the legislature's budget with the understanding that we are nowhere near where we should be, and there's lots more work that we need to do.
I'm pleased that he signed it, and I would say because for the most part our budget was kept intact, I think it's a good thing for Wisconsin.
Republicans say they're disappointed in one Evers veto that effectively blocks new drug drug tests and work requirements for people on the state's food stamp program. Speaker Robin Vos struck a harsher tone, saying he believes the budget should have been signed into law today without any partial vetoes at all. And as far as whether the legislature will try to override some of these partial vetoes, Senator Fitzgerald says he can't say yet.
All right, Rose Schmidt reporting live from the Capitol. Thank you.
Happening around the state, 4 Democratic presidential candidates will be heading to Wisconsin for a town hall event. Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders, Massachusetts Senator Elizabeth Warren, former U.S. Housing Secretary Julian Castro, and former Texas Representative Beto O'Rourke will be coming to Milwaukee next Thursday. It is 1 year before the Democratic National Convention will be held in that city. The state is seen, as you know, as a key swing state in the election, and several Democratic candidates have been in Wisconsin already, including stops in Madison. More local news now. About a dozen cattle are dead after a devastating barn fire in Dodge County this morning.
Madeline O'Neill is here to tell us what happened. Maddie?
Mark and Susan, fire officials are still investigating the cause of the fire, which started at about 3 this morning. It happened at J&R Bar Ranch on State Highway 89, that's north of Waterloo. With the help of aid from Dane, Dodge, Jefferson, and Columbia counties, Waterloo firefighters were able to put out the fire within about an hour. Waterloo Fire Chief says the owners were able to move horses from a nearby barn to safety, but 13 cattle were trapped in the lower part of the barn and couldn't be saved.
A lot of hay in the upper half of the barn. Some of it they just put in recently. We're still looking at cause of fire yet, so it's under investigation.
The barn is considered a total loss, and the chief says a priority while fighting this fire was, of course, making sure the fire didn't spread with other buildings very close to each other.
All right, Madeline O'Neill, thank you.
Armored military vehicles have been moved to the National Mall ahead of President Trump's July 4th salute to America. The president says it will be the show of a lifetime. The National Park Service is reportedly diverting $2.5 million slated for improvements at other parks for the president's event. And there is a VIP section with some tickets going to Republican donors.
Instead of addressing something like veteran homelessness, he's spending it on boosting his ego and then getting tickets into the hands of wealthy donors for the Republican Party. What a waste of money.
The president tweeted saying the cost of our great salute to America tomorrow will be very little compared to what it is worth.
The acting head of Homeland Security ordered an investigation Wednesday into a report of disturbing social media posts by active patrol agents. The investigation comes a day after the department's Inspector General office released photos of severe overcrowding at Border Patrol facilities. Acting DHS Director Kevin McAlean announced an investigation into a report of offensive comments made in a Facebook group that includes border agents. According to ProPublica, one of the group's 9,500 members posted a photo of a dead migrant and his toddler daughter and asked if it was fake because the bodies were so, quote, clean. In a tweet Wednesday, McAlean called the social media activity disturbing and inexcusable. The incoming president of the American Academy of Pediatrics toured 2 of the facilities last week.
When they opened the door, the first thing that hit us was a smell, and it was a smell of sweat, urine, and feces.
The White House is also firing back at a federal judge who just blocked a Trump administration policy that would keep thousands of asylum seekers in custody while they pursue their cases. In a statement, the White House said the decision will lead to further overwhelmingness of our immigration system.
A 9/11 hero was laid to rest in New York City today. A sea of blue turned out to say goodbye to the former NYPD detective who captured the nation's hearts with an appearance on Capitol Hill. Stephen Fabian has more.
Fellow officers carried the flag-draped casket of 9/11 first responder Louis Alvarez into Immaculate Conception Church in Queens, New York. The former NYPD detective died over the weekend at 53 after a years-long battle with colon cancer, linked to the 3 months he spent digging through the rubble at Ground Zero after 9/11. But it was only last month when Alvarez made headlines on Capitol Hill, where he asked for an extension of the September 11th Victim Compensation Fund alongside comedian Jon Stewart.
This fund is not a ticket to paradise. It is there to provide for our families when we can't.
Alvarez's oldest son spoke about their final moments.
I told him I love him. I love you, Dad. I promise to keep walking on the brave side of the line. I promise to be the man you inspired me to be.
In death, Alvarez's mission to help others continues.
Louis asked me and the family that we remember at this Mass everyone who died on 9/11.
His sister told the priest that even in Alvarez's final hours, his thoughts were back at the World Trade Center.
He said, "I'm tired and I'm walking." And she said, "Where are you, Louis?" He said, "I'm on the pile."
Alvarez went through 68 rounds of chemotherapy, a warrior to the end. Stephen Fabian, CBS News, New York.
In honor of the fallen hero, New York City Mayor Bill de Blasio will be awarding Luis Alvarez a posthumous key to the city.
The world around Major League Baseball continues to mourn the death of Angels pitcher Tyler Skaggs.
Please join the Texas Rangers, the Los Angeles Angels, and all of Major League Baseball as we observe a moment of silence in honor of Los Angeles Angels pitcher Tyler Skaggs.
The Angels returned to the field one day after the death of their star pitcher. The 27-year-old died Monday after he was found unresponsive in his Texas hotel room, hours before the Angels were to open their road series against the Texas Rangers. Skaggs had pitched just 2 days prior to his death against Oakland at Angel Stadium. The cause of Skaggs' death will be revealed once the autopsy is completed. Police in Texas say they are investigating, but foul play is not suspected.
Well, there's more at 4. Still to come, it's become a Sun Prairie institution.
Our tastemaker went to Buck and Honey's to find out why people keep coming back to this family-run restaurant. That's when Live at 4 continues. Welcome back. Researchers are touting what they call a potential breakthrough in HIV research.
The scientists say they managed to completely eliminate the virus in some mice. They used a combination of antiviral therapy and a gene editing technique called CRISPR. The treatment cleared the virus in about 1/3 of the mice used in the experiment. But scientists say they need more research to see if that technique can be used in human patients. About 36 million people were living with HIV in 2016 across the globe.
Toyota is expanding its recall of some Priuses. According to the LA Times, the automaker notified U.S. dealers that it's now including Prius models made in 2018 to an earlier recall. Toyota pulled almost 800,000 Priuses in 2014 because of a defect in its electronic power system. The LA Times reports a Toyota executive testified Monday that even after the recall, the hybrid inverters failed for as many as 20,000 Prius owners. Toyota attempted to fix the problem by modifying its software that supposedly did not stop the system failures. It was a record-setting day on Wall Street, even in a holiday-shortened session. The Dow Industrial set a new record high, adding 179 points, closing at 26,966. We're going to have to toast again, Susan.
Yeah.
The NASDAQ Composite Index up 81. The S&P 500 added 22 for its 6th record close so far this year. Well, it's been 9 years since Buck and Honey's opened in Sun Prairie.
Now Buck and Honey's owner Tom Anderson and his team are bringing the party to Monona with a second location that's right on the Yahara riverfront. Madison Magazine's Andrea Bailing checked it out for this month's Tastemaker.
We have a ton of stuff on the table here. Can you tell me what we have?
Well, we'll start our Life Balance menu. Over to the left here is our chips and eggamole. This is cage-free eggs with our house-made guacamole and
chips and eggamole.
Chips and eggamole. So it's a deep dish. Life Balance has become a huge fad. I mean, it's not a fad; it's the real deal.
Yeah.
But we believe in everything's 500 calories or less on that menu.
Oh, nice.
For lunch and 600 calories or less for dinner. We have all the fat counts, the carb counts. Everything's on the menu.
Nice.
So people really like that in this day. We have keto-friendly dishes. So yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Great.
Yeah, and then our shrimp, artichoke, and quinoa bowl.
Ooh, that looks
Yeah,
beautiful.
that's
What's
a lot
all
of fun.
in there?
So we've got artichokes, shrimp. It's just sesame seeds, basil leaves, and spinach.
And it's a light
Yep.
dish, but it seems substantial
It
enough
is. It's
to
only
fill you up.
238 calories.
Wow,
I know.
cool.
This is our seared ahi tuna. So our entree salads, we have 5 or 6 very fresh salads that come out. We change them with the seasons. And then our signature sandwich, this is our TA's hot combi. This was my dad, Bomber, taught me how to make this.
Really?
35 years ago at our restaurant in the Dells called Bomberino. So this was our, and we've taken it here and juiced it up a little bit with more local ingredients, and then some, obviously our French fries here, and our creamy Italian sauce.
Creamy Italian sauce.
All of our
cool.
dressings are made right here in house.
Oh, nice.
Yep, and then on to dinner, right?
Dinner.
Well, in between, of course, we have craft cocktails, our chocolate martini, some martini, or a glass of wine here. And then we've got our prime pork tenderloin. This is with the butternut squash raviolis, and it's finished with a nice brown butter sauce, our mix of artisan mushrooms, and then prime pork tenderloin, sliced tenderloin in between each layer.
Wow.
This might be my favorite dish on the menu right now. Yeah, we added it probably four or 5 months ago, and I seem to veer towards it all the time.
Oh, cool.
And then we have a cedar plank salmon, which is
salmon.
drizzled with a nice lemon butter sauce. And then some asparagus and rice. And then our barbecue ribs, slow cooked right here.
Look at that stack.
Yeah, our signature Brussels sprouts. We go through about 250 pounds of Brussels sprouts a week.
Oh my gosh.
Because you could have them for dessert, drizzled with a nice balsamic.
Yeah.
And then, of course, we have steaks and seafood and, pan-fried walleye and an amazing steak selection. But we thought we'd show you some stuff with some color and some fun things here today.
Yeah, and your menu is so, it runs the gamut.
It does.
How would you describe it?
Yeah, so I would describe, we're a contemporary casual, we're at that fine line right between family casual and fine dining, that sweet spot. But it's a scratch kitchen, every sauce, every dressing, like I said, our croutons, everything's house made. Wow. So we don't even have a freezer. Well, we have a small one for ice cream and stuff. But for the most part, it's a lot of unique flavors that are unique to Buck and Honey's. But we're very proud of the menu. The chef Sammy, he works very hard to get his team together and execute for our guests.
And he's been here for quite a while, right?
Since we've opened, yeah.
Really?
Yeah, yep. Sammy's been a longtime friend, and going into this, that was part of why we ventured into this this restaurant is knowing we had Sammy on our team, and so he's wonderful.
It's been here 8 years, is
8.5 years,
Eight and a half years, wow.
Yep.
And with an expansive menu also comes an expansive space too here, right?
Yeah, yep.
How many can you seat here?
We have 180 seats in the main restaurant, but then we have 2 event spaces. So the barrel room can seat about 75 for a sit-down dinner and up to like 125 for a mingling event.
Cool. Well, thank you so much for having us in today.
You got it.
This all looks great.
Thanks for coming, and come out and see us sometime. Yeah.
And Andrea joins us now. And just to be clear, this is the Sun Prairie restaurant. The Monona location hasn't opened yet.
Right, yes. I met him a while ago and they aren't open yet, but they are days away from the new location in Monona opening.
When does that open?
July 15th.
Oh, so it's almost here.
Yes.
Right around the corner.
Yep.
I'm starving.
I know, that looked so good.
The menu, it's, you know, it really is, they kind of run the line between family, casual, and fine dining, so there really is something for everyone on the menu. But I'm excited to see what their new menu looks like at the Monona place, and it's in a beautiful building right on the Yahara Riverfront. It's going to be great.
And what's the menu where everything's listed? What's that called?
The Life Balance,
Life Balance.
with the calorie count.
I like that.
Yeah. I like that too. That's important information. Is that for all of the items or just certain items on the menu?
That's just the Life Balance items. But then, you know, because people like me, I'll get a chocolate martini there, but others that are counting their calories.
I'm not sure that's on that menu.
No, probably not.
All right, read all about it in this month's edition of Madison Magazine. There it is, living longer and stronger in the 608.
And congratulations to Tom on the new location. Best of luck.
Andy, thank you.
Thank you.
There's more to come at 4. An historic amount of cars are expected on the road over the next few days. How to beat the traffic.
And coming up tonight on News 3 Now at 5, people in Beloit are upset that a registered sex offender is moving into a neighborhood. We'll tell you how officials are responding coming up at 5.
Take a look at this. The Nevada Highway Patrol says passengers must be alive in order to be counted as occupants in cars using the HOV or high occupancy vehicle lane, something they probably didn't think they'd need to clarify. The reminder was prompted by a traffic stop involving a hearse. A trooper pulled over the driver of the hearse, who was carrying a body in the back. The driver told the trooper he assumed the body counted toward the 2 or more occupant requirement to use the lane. It did not, but the trooper let him go with a warning. This time, all right.
Nice try there.
There's 2 people in the car. Just one of them's dead.
Well, there's that.
Technically, there's
the things people do to,
That's right,
to beat traffic.
Just to get in that lane.
Yeah, a lot of traffic today, busy travel day. Trying to transition from that story to some slightly happier news here and weather forecast. I do have a nice weekend coming up, but I will talk a little bit further on thunderstorm chances for the 4th of July in your First Alert forecast in just a few minutes. Good afternoon. I hope you had a really nice Wednesday so far. I love this photo sent in from Anna in Waterloo. We have that thunderstorm cloud forming in the distance, partially blocking that sunshine, but very appropriately with July 4th being tomorrow, we have the American flag down here, the reflection of that flag, which is really, really cool. Thank you so much for sending this in, and lots of weather photos have been coming in to the weather office over the last couple of days because of all the thunderstorms that we've been having, and we love to get them because it really gives us a sense of really what's happening where you live. And speaking of thunderstorms, we've had some more fire up. You could see them on Visible Cloud Track, our satellite imagery here. Watch how quickly they really start going closer to Iowa and portions of Iowa City and and close to Dubuque. This is where that stationary front is. It's not exactly stationary. It's moving north today. It was moving south yesterday. And we've had some more thunderstorms form a little bit closer to Minneapolis and Eau Claire. And we can see that a little bit better on Doppler track. So not really concerned too much about these showers and storms. The only thing is, folks, we have really weak forcing out there, but we have a lot of humidity. So what that means in layman's terms is if we do get thunderstorms to develop, and we are seeing some storms a little bit closer to Sauk, Richland counties into Juneau County right now, portions of Vernon County. These storms are really raining pretty heavily in spots, and they're not moving all that much. So we'll have to watch where these kind of popcorn thunderstorms do pop up, exactly how long they stick around, because if they stick around too long, we've definitely seen this before, this scenario play out where we'll have some localized flooding concerns. Not saying we need to worry about that too much, but it bears watching. Also, maybe some gusty winds and small hail across far southwestern Wisconsin this evening. Tomorrow, that severe weather threat is a little bit closer to La Crosse. So, a live look in Platteville on our Queen Bee Radio Skycam. We see some of those cumulonimbus clouds building off in the distance. Similar story in Madison. Just had a shower roll through the west side, closer to the top of the show. Looking a little bit like mostly sunny skies, or partly sunny skies, I should say. Today's high, 85 degrees, normal 82, so running about where we should be for this time of year. That humidity could go away at any time. Attention, Mother Nature. Forward and BCC and CC that email. 83 in Madison, 88 in Janesville, close to 90 in Mineral Point and Platteville. When you factor in that humidity, though, we have dew points in the 70s. Once again, especially closer to southwestern Wisconsin, it feels like 100 in Mineral Point, feeling like 94 in Janesville, 88 in Madison, and still feeling pretty cool overall compared to the rest of us in Milwaukee. As far as the 4th of July forecast goes, I think temperatures will be pretty similar tomorrow, and we could still see an evening shower or thunderstorm. Still humid, so that humidity is really not going anywhere until we get to the weekend. We will have some improving forecasts there, and it's a good idea to maybe have some rain gear ready to go in case one of those thunderstorms does pop up. Temperatures near 74 tonight, mild and muggy with fog late. Evening thunderstorms not out of the question, and we're seeing some of them right now during the late afternoon hours. Temps in the mid-80s tomorrow, very warm and humid. More showers and thunderstorms could be popping up in the afternoon. If that sounds familiar, it's been the forecast for the last week. Feels like a month. We are talking about showers and thunderstorms in the isolated nature that they're kind of currently in, sticking around for the next couple of hours. And then as we head into early Thursday morning, temperatures dipping close to 70 degrees. Some more patchy fog is possible, especially closer to the lakeshore. Then for tomorrow, we see those showers and thunderstorms popping up. When else in the afternoon and early evening when that heat and humidity start to build up across southern Wisconsin. Then as we head into Friday, more showers and thunderstorms possible in the afternoon and evening. After that, though, here's the important thing. The weather really does start to improve. Your 7 to 10-day forecast, we are looking at things definitely cooler for the weekend. And then we are talking about dry weather lasting for Saturday and Sunday. Into Monday, we're looking at temperatures in the low 80s, maybe a few more showers and thunderstorms on Tuesday and Wednesday, but really overall, it does look a lot less rainy as we get into next week.
Looking forward to the weekend, that's for sure. All right, Dave, thank you.
Thank you, Dave. Well, huge numbers of Americans are traveling for the 4th of July holiday.
Chris Van Cleve looks at how they're getting there.
Be it by plane, train, or automobile, AAA says holiday travelers can expect plenty of company.
How busy of a 4th of July weekend is this going to be?
It is going to be one for the record books. We are projecting that 49 million Americans will be traveling this holiday season, up about 4% from what we saw in 2018.
The TSA anticipates screening more than 12 million people at its checkpoints between Wednesday and Sunday, with Sunday being the busiest day. But most vacationers, more than 41 million, are expected to drive, including Carrie Accardi, who got an early start.
Well, I can already tell that I'm going to have not a great ride. It's telling me Waze is saying 3 hours, 15 minutes, and I'm normally 2 hours and 45.
New York, Detroit, San Francisco, and LA can expect the most traffic Wednesday. Atlanta, Boston, and Chicago will see brake lights build Friday. and D.C. drivers will experience the worst of it on the way home Sunday. The good news, prices at the pump are cheaper. The nationwide average is down 12 cents from 2018.
Well, I think we've definitely seen something unique this year in terms of gas prices actually going down during the summer period, which we don't typically see.
The best bet for missing traffic at this point is to leave on the morning of July 4th, Thursday morning. Chris Van Cleve, CBS News, Annandale, Virginia.
And a reminder, the 4th of July is one of the deadliest weekends for drunk driving.
Police are urging people to wear their seatbelt and, of course, don't drink and drive.
A little common sense.
Stay with us for Live at 4. A U.S. Marine is showing his love of country in a way you might not expect.
How he's celebrating Independence Day with dance when Live at 4 continues.
This is a live look of the Statue of Liberty in New York City, a great symbol of this country on its Independence Day Eve. And Independence Day is one of our most patriotic holidays.
A former U.S. Marine is showing his love of country in a very unique way.
As Nicole Killian explains, he's using dance to help veterans and military families heal after deployment.
So we can actually see it, hear.
Roman Baca has turned his experience in combat into choreography.
I used to be a Marine and served in the war, and now I run a dance company.
Roman started Exit 12 after deploying to Iraq.
The way we were operating, it contributed to a bit of anger, a bit of depression.
Transitioning from the battlefield to ballet was a form of therapy.
People who said, I don't want to talk about my war experience, or I can't talk about my war experience. Through dance, we don't have to do that.
His repertoire reflects military experiences.
We have a piece that talks about the interaction between the military individuals and the people on the ground. We have another piece talking about the impact of war on families.
That piece was created by dancer Taylor Gordon, whose brother committed suicide after 2 deployments to Afghanistan.
Exit 12 is kind of my way of trying to navigate through dealing with those feelings.
Bruce Smith served during Vietnam and often performs with the company.
This has been part of healing those things I didn't pay attention to.
1, 2.
When Roman and his ensemble aren't on stage, they also hold movement workshops for vets and military families, like this one for Gold Star mothers.
At first I was like, I can't do this, I can't do it, you know, it's going to be painful. Sometimes you just have to do that.
Do you see this as another way to serve your country?
I think Exit 12 is not only another way to serve my country, but to serve the world.
Through a healing tour of duty, one dance step at a time. Nicole Killian, CBS News, Arlington, Virginia.
Exit 12 is featured in a documentary that was released earlier this year.
Baca named the company for the exit he took to his rehearsal studio. And that's where the name came from. When we come back, some advice on how to find personal independence on Independence Day.
Our happiness coach, or that's what we call her, Christine Whelan from the UW School of Human Ecology, has some advice when Live at 4 continues.
Good afternoon. Here is your Wednesday First Alert traffic update. A busy travel day, the day before the Independence Day holiday, and we are still seeing some slowdowns on the Beltline eastbound. We're looking at Park Street and the Beltline right now. Westbound not looking too bad. So we are still seeing those delays along much of the eastbound Beltline. The good news is, since we last spoke about traffic, that incident closer to Monona Drive has been cleared. Stoughton Road and Verona Road not looking too bad at the present time, but average speeds on the Beltline about 15 to 25 miles per hour. Here are your drive times. It will cost you 28 minutes from University Ave to the interstate on the eastbound Beltline. Average speed of around 30 to 35 miles per hour, and we are running definitely slow University Ave to the interstate. We talked about that. Sun Prairie southbound to downtown, that's 11 minutes, so running a bit tardy as well. Average speed of around 15 miles per hour. That is your First Alert traffic update.
All right, Dave, thank you. Congratulations are in order for these two lovebirds. John and Phyllis Cook were the talk of the assisted living center where they live. The two had been dating for a year. Well, they got married yesterday. John's a World War II vet. He recently turned 100. Phyllis will turn 103 on August 8th. Their relationship blossomed over the past months, and as a devout Christian woman, Phyllis decided it was best to tie the knot. She didn't want to be a kept woman. Despite spending hours together every day, they understand the importance of their space. They both kept their own apartments in the facility.
I love that.
Why not?
Yes.
Why not? It is the 4th of July. It's time to celebrate our independence as a nation.
But when it comes to our personal happiness, independence may be the exact opposite of what we really need. We like to call her our happiness coach. Christine Whelan from UW-Madison is back with us today. Hi, Christine.
Happy to be here.
Happy July.
Happy July.
So what are we talking about here?
All right, so tomorrow we celebrate Independence Day, right? And independence as a nation is wonderful and something we very much need. And as individuals, we want independence too, the ability to make choices, to kind of be the masters of our own future. The thing is, though, too many choices don't always make us more happy. And so actually, one of the secrets to happiness is relationships. It's interdependence. And not just me all the time, but how the me can work with the we to maximize everybody's happiness.
So you need the right balance of independence and human activity.
Absolutely. So it's about individuals and community. And in fact, 4th of July is kind of a great example of that as a holiday, because what do we do on 4th of July? We come together with barbecues and with community events to really celebrate us as a group. And one of the things that I think would be really important for all of us on 4th of July is to think about all the people who helped us get to where we are, right? To thank our mentors, to send a quick text or an email to all those who helped us out along the way, acknowledging that we are interdependent as individuals and really as a world.
Oh, I love that idea. In terms of more choices don't necessarily make you happy, there's research that backs that up.
There is. So there's some fascinating research that shows even in grocery shopping, if you go into the grocery store and you're presented with 24 different jams, you are much more likely to look at them and just walk away from all of them and feel overwhelmed than if you see 3 and you can make a choice within a smaller universe of things. In fact, we can do this in our own lives, and behavioral economists call this second-order decision-making, where you make a big decision, like, I'm going to go back to school for another degree. And because you've made that one big decision, you know where you're going to be on a particular day. You know how you're going to be prioritizing your spending. So making those big decisions helps us make all of the smaller decisions more easily.
Oh, interesting.
So you should limit your choices?
To some degree, yes. Think about it. If you had a choice of what to do if you woke up every morning and you had no idea what you were going to do, you kind of lie there thinking, well, what's next, right?
What am I going to do today?
What am I going to do today, right? But if you have a plan, that tends to make us feel like we can make better choices within the structure of our day. You know, it's true for toddlers, certainly, and that's always the child advice. But it's true for adults too, right? Structure and making those big choices to help guide our smaller choices really makes a difference.
Oh, that's interesting. And I think when you're talking about being interdependent, sometimes our social media and everything else is doing exactly the opposite. It's kind of pulling us apart.
Indeed. So there's this idea of how many friends can you really have. It's called the Dunbar number. And we can't actually have 500 or 1,000 friends and actively keep up with them. No, we have a smaller group of friends, and then we have a sort of a larger community group. But generally investing in not just our small group, but getting out there into the larger community and saying, you know, I'm a part of something bigger. Even getting out there into nature, taking a walk and thinking, gosh, the air that I'm breathing right now, it's supporting me. I'm part of this larger whole. That boosts your happiness.
Really?
It does.
Just being alone.
You could go on a walk with someone else,
okay,
but you're never alone. You're with nature and all the wonderful things around you. But just being aware and mindful and acknowledging how we as organisms are interdependent, how we are interdependent in relationships, but really also how we can get involved in our community, how we can see what's going on in the world and not feel so isolated. Because, you know, if we're always focused on me, that leads to isolation, that leads to more anxiety, that leads to depression, and that leads us to feel really alone in the world. And this Independence Day, we don't have to. Think about it as interdependent, too.
One big group?
Yeah.
Interesting.
One happy family. You going to go to a barbecue?
I'll be here working.
It's his holiday to work.
My work friends.
Well, there you go. I'll be at a barbecue.
We're going to barbecue here, though.
Oh, excellent. See, as a community.
As a community.
This is wonderful. So you're living my happiness advice already.
I feel happier already.
Excellent.
Christine, thank you.
Thanks, Christine.
Have a happy 4th.
Happy 4th.
Good to see you.
Good to see you, too.
Right back with the final check your forecast.
Ready to role play back?
Dave is back, keeping an eye on the radar.
Yeah, we do have some showers and thunderstorms outside across southern Wisconsin. They're pretty isolated, but where they are popping up, there's enough humidity in the atmosphere where we are getting some heavy bouts of downpours, that's for sure. So keep the umbrella handy and don't be surprised if you get caught in the rain for the next couple of hours at least. It feels like 102 in Mineral Point, feeling like 88 in Madison, feels like 95 in Platteville. We do it all again tomorrow for July 4th with some afternoon and evening showers and storms possible.
All right, thank you, Dave. We are off on the 4 tomorrow, so Friday here on Live at 4 we'll preview the annual car show and fundraiser for the Gilda's Club of Madison.
And our canine correspondents Lola and Louie are in with the News Hounds Now update. That's coming up on Friday on Live at 4. In today's final touch, as we mentioned earlier, a record number of people are expected to travel this 4th of July.
And the next time you hit the road, you might want to check out Airbnb Luxe. 2,000 newly listed properties on Airbnb